It's interesting because I think, and clearly, I'm around these guys a ton, and just they come back and they test from having the 4th of July weekend off, and a lot of guys are hitting personal bests and they're hitting some miles markers, and clearly the offseason has treated them well. Unfortunately, I listened to Caleb last night on Husker Sports Nightly, and
I was going to ask, how did you think his performance went?
Well, I mean, he's pretty vanilla. It's his personality, right? He's vanilla bean. He's not gonna say anything too out of pocket. But one thing I did pick up on is he talked about them being much more athletic and more explosive, right? And he's a guy that I told this to Ravi a couple weeks ago. He hit the 22-mile-an-hour club, and he was pumped about that. He ran sub 4.5. He was pumped about that. And I said, well, why didn't you say anything? And he said, well, in typical Caleb fashion, he goes, well, we had 13 or 14 guys hit personal bests. So until those are made official or until we know where everybody is, I'm just minding my own business. Right. And so I'm just and I said to Ravi, I go, does 13 or 14 personal bests, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say I'm a 9.7 standing broad jumper. I come back after winter and summer conditioning, and I'm 10 flat, right? Like that's a PB. So I don't know, like in what categories or how fast or how explosive or whatever. I just know personal best, right? So my one takeaway from that was clearly the off season is working, right? He's lamenting about Kristen Coggins. He's lamenting about Corey Campbell, the strength and conditioning. And I said this to Ravi a couple months ago on the show. This was clearly a huge offseason for progression because I think they're young and they're talented, but physically they want their bodies and their numbers to match year 3 culture. So you have to be year 3 physically ready to play. So I think hearing that, man, I think they're cautiously optimistic. And I'm cautiously optimistic because I do think they'll have a lot more capable bodies. But how it manifests itself, you guys, that's why I play the game.
So I have a question based on that, DB, because I'm just thinking real time here as you're talking through being ready mentally versus being ready physically. If you're a coach and you're in that position, would you rather your deciding factor have to be who's physically capable or who's mentally capable? Like, would you rather have an entire team of guys? Because I know this is tough for you because I know you're a big mentality guy. Would you rather have like, hey, I've got 53 guys, because we basically call it a 2 deep. I got 53 guys that mentally I know are all there. I don't know if I've got them there physically. Or you get, hey, I've got 53 guys that are there physically. The differentiator is going to be the ones that are there mentally. Which position would you prefer to be in?
I'm going to couch it a little.
Okay.
If my culture is good and I feel good about my culture, this is going to shock you. I want my guys physically ready.
You want the physical to be the differentiator.
I know I always talk mental, and it's paramount. But if my culture's good,
if you got the good foundation,
and it's self-sustaining with my players, physically, I want to see where we're at. So I will go with the physical portion for once in my life. And answering this question, I want my 53 guys physically ready.
So the reason I asked that, because normally that would be a no-brainer question. I kind of felt like that's where you might go because, like, I do think Nebraska mentally, I do think they're a lot closer to being where they need to be this year. I do think there were times where it's just like, that I just need a couple more guys to physically be ready. I think they really, really like their redshirt freshman and sophomore classes. Like, I think they really like where those guys are at. I just don't know if they thought they were physically ready yet.
Yeah, so where I'm getting kind of my feel from is kind of year 3 coach Rhule, where he seems to be he's like the players, right? Where he's defending the culture. You saw his, I don't know if you follow him on Instagram, but he talked about recognizing and acknowledging winners before they actually win. Like he reposted that. He favorited that. He's talked about Year 3, it's time to defend the culture. You saw the tweets about profiting off of fear, and those days are over. Like, he comes across as somebody that is supremely confident in the psychological profile, because for him, he's always believed in the physical, right? He's a big measurables guy. If you look like this and you test like this and you have these benchmarks. So the emotional part of the game is what he's always tried to talk about. You can't be afraid of failure. If we die, we die. You know what that meant? Like, just lay it on the line and see what happens. Or getting to the bowl game and saying, you know what? That burden is not these younger guys' burden to bear. It is for these older guys to get over the hump for their sense of accomplishment. And now, you guys, I really think this is crazy, but I think they've maybe graduated from the what's next because they got the bowl game out of the way to what is possible. When you can go here, listen to what I'm telling you. When you can go from, hey, what's next, like checklist, to what's possible, you've allowed yourself to think big. If you're going to think big, you have to train big and put yourself in positions physically where you can go there because you've already crossed a couple of emotional hurdles. That's the number one reason why I say I'll take the 53 physical this time, because I think the culture's good. And I think they're truly thinking about the what's possible. You hear players, hey, we're more athletic, we're bigger, we're stronger, we're more confident. When I hear somebody close to me say that, and I kind of know how he thinks, I know what he's saying. He's saying, gosh, we're owning our own journey in terms of getting physically ready, because the culture is set up. We cheer for one another. We show up every day. Dylan has graduated to the point where he's not pulling guys out of bed and saying, hey, man, hop on. He's saying, hey, ride with me. Not, hey, hop on. It's, hey, ride with me. It just comes across as different. When I ask Austin if I needed a ride and I said, will you take me?
Yeah.
That lands different than, hey, will you ride with me?
Yeah.
One sidecar. One is, I don't know if I can do this without you. And I sound a little weak. I think I think they're past that. Now, what it means in terms of wins and losses, again, I don't know. I just like the fact that I think internally, without the pressure of a winning season or a bowl game, you can now move on to what's next. And for these young pups thinking about what's next, I'm excited, right? If Coach Butler or Coach Williams or whomever, Coach Holgerson is like, hey, this is going to be a competitive, spirited camp. Nothing's given, everything's earned. If that's the notion, and you're that close competitive wise between peer groups, I'm telling you, that's when the magic happens.
Yeah.
Because you're pulling in the same direction. The talent disparity isn't huge between 1s and 2s and 3s. And it's just good old fashioned, grimy, competitive spirit. Let the best people win. When the best people win, you understand that I have a role to do. Maybe my role is to be, I'm the chaser, right? I need a Mosey to be able to say to Emmett, hey, man, I'll take your job. Like, I want Ives to say to Mosey, look, young buck, you just got to this room. You're not ready for this. Or Ives to say, Makai Nelson to say, you haven't been through what I've been through, right? I was the young, pretty 185-pounder from Wilkesboro that you guys didn't take serious because I wasn't from Philly. And have everybody be like, yeah, I'm for him, or yeah, I'm for him. Like, the Devils, major in the majors, minor in the minors. The major is competition. The minors are who is actually competing. When you can separate those two, you give yourself a chance, right?
Yeah.
Cam's got to look at Cam and say, not today, old head.
Yeah.
You know?
So DB, is that the biggest difference maker? And I mean, the conversation that everyone is kind of agreeing on is that next obstacle is overcoming these close losses, right? They've had some close wins. They've figured that part out in times last season, but is that the next step? Is this community and the tightness that the competition that's built up with the team now can get you through those tough moments when things don't go your way in an overtime or things aren't looking great in a fourth quarter? You can build yourself back in because you've gotten that internal competition going.
100%. That's not that we don't own that anymore. That is not our story. We're writing our own narrative, not on my watch, not today, not ever. Just because it has been doesn't mean it will be. And the more that those guys can focus on that is not your burden to bear. We have moved on past that. Not on your watch. That's the whole thing. See, Dylan gets to lead a group. I'll give you a real example because I know we're probably up against. Oh, you guys can do what you want.
We can do whatever we want.
We're not on traditional radio. I don't know if you know that. We can go as long as we want.
That whole phone home, that whole terrestrial thing. I know it's open. But, listen, I'll give you a prime example. See, Dylan gets to lead his troops offensively after a year of putting in the work and changing his body and having great command of the offense and having worked with Holgo for a full year now in the offseason. So when he gets you out of bed to go run routes or to go to Dallas or to go throw, it's not because he's the 5-star anointed freshman with the last name Raiola. See, that was last year. That was last year. He was just better than the next guy, but we don't know how good he really is, but he's in a position of leadership. See, the difference between last year and this year is, oh my gosh, he's still the same charismatic leader. He's still the same good hard worker. He's still the same talented 5-star. But you know what he's done? He's put in a year of being grimy and grindy and all in on leading his troops. So now when he picks up the phone and he says, hey, listen, I need you at One Stadium Drive at 5:45 so we can go early before the second part of the day. Everybody's like, oh, man, look at the poster child calling us in. No, it's look at the bell cow that's called us in and needs us to do work. That's the difference between year one, Dylan, and year two, Dylan.
DB, that's great stuff. We have to find a time that we can talk about the Scotty Scheffler thing.
Oh, isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
Because
isn't that amazing?
I am just endlessly fascinated. A, that he said it. B, that he feels it. And C, that he was so comfortable just like laying it out there.
You also want to talk about something that can be completely taken out of context, like the different clips that people can cut up of that. So different than his overall message.
Yeah.
So different.
And you know what's funny is sometimes we ask, like, why is sustained greatness so hard?
Yeah.
When we talk about distractions and, endorsement deals and like it's just hard to be good at something for a long time. You know what we almost never talk about? What we're fueled by or what motivates us to do whatever it is that we do.
Like internally.
The whole internal thing we completely miss. That's what makes guys like Federer or Tiger or Jordan Burrow or Michael Jordan. That's what makes those guys different. Long-term sustained greatness is a total intrinsic thing. And it's not for everybody because not everybody has the same catalyst on what fulfills them or what completes them or what makes them whole. We oftentimes don't like to be around people whose identity is wrapped up in an outcome. But boy, do we sure appreciate those dudes when they pull it off, right? It's hard to appreciate Brady in the moment. And it cost him a couple of relationships, didn't it?
Yeah.
But you know what he gets on the back end? He's the GOAT. He's the one that gets to decide, was the juice worth the squeeze and taking that route. It's not for everybody.
You know, the other thing that really stuck out to me, and we don't have to go super deep dive into this, is the dynamic of fulfillment in a team sport versus in an individual sport.
Yeah,
right?
I'll be curious to get your thoughts on that. You were quick to bring that up. I'm gonna go. I want to listen to kind of the perspective on that because it is different,
Yeah.
But when you get an individually driven guy like that in a team sport, we've seen that he can carry the crew with him. And it happened in New England.
It happened in New England. It happened in Chicago. It happened in LA with Kobe. Like, I think there's a lot of places that it happened. I do think it's a little bit more rare in team sports because I think your teammates can cover for you a little bit when you don't have it.
Somebody still got to cast the vision, baby.
Yes. But I think sometimes you can have moments where it doesn't have to just be you. I think that's the hard part about the individual sports, but we can get into more of that later.
I'm all in. You open up 9:30 slots, man. I'm your Huckleberry.
All right, man. We appreciate you hanging out.
That's what they said in Tombstone. Is that what they said in Tombstone,
yeah,
Austin?
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You got it.
Austin, Val Kimmer, Jacobson. Got it.
That is the greatest compliment I could have received this week. That just changed the trajectory of my week. I'm on a new high now.
DB's a big Val.
You can be my wingman anytime. I'm here all day.
All right, Maverick. We'll talk to you. We'll see if we'll squeeze you in a couple more times this week.
Dude, is there anybody that has more Maverick tendencies than I do?
Matt Verzal.
I mean, when I'm good, I'm good. When I'm bad, I'm awful.
All right, buddy. We'll enjoy the rest of your team camp week, and we'll talk to you soon.
I appreciate it, fellas.